morning, good evening, good afternoon, as long as it's all good. We want to welcome you to the House That Happened, sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in Ontario, and we'd like to believe it's the best dive bar in the country because it keeps the vibe alive. Hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And we want to talk about the insidious, iconic, and idiotic things that happen in this wacky world we call sports. How you doing, buddy?
Somewhere between Britney Spears and Victor Wembanyama.
That would be an interesting spot to be, don't you think?
Actually, I should say more between Britney Spears and Alek Manoah, let's just say.
Oh, I'd rather go on this side with Wembanyama. But anyways, let's just look at it this for a minute, because it's not really a sporting thing, but it is. Can you imagine? Britney owns Vegas pretty much right now. She's one of the big Vegas people. She wants to welcome a young man to a world that he's never been to before. And mad security moves Britney Spears in Vegas. What's the world coming to?
No, that's nuts.
If I was Wembanyama, I want to. Hey, Britney's pushing 40. Have you seen Britney lately?
I can't say I've seen too many pictures of her lately, but
brick house, baby. Oh yeah, she hasn't missed the gym. Okay, let's put it that way. So, anyways, I think he would want it to meet her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, once upon a time, Britney was as big as Wembanyama. Maybe she still is in a weird kind of a way.
Yeah. Well, she was the biggest pop star on the planet for a time.
Yeah, 10 minutes, but
I'd say longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know what kept her up there? Those freaking dirty executive guys watching her run around in that freaking schoolgirl shirt. It was awful. That's what started it, the whole thing. Britney's a problem, not a problem. I mean, they marketed it. But I think it's hilarious that a young man like Wembanyama, who welcome to North America. What's your first thing? You got mad freaking security bum rushing one of the biggest stars in North America?
That's your welcome to America moment right there.
I'm telling you, only in America, which is an interesting point to start the show, but we're going to take a little left turn.
Actually, I want to ask you one thing. So
Sure.
a little bit of a left turn here, but have you heard about the newest Indiana Jones movie?
I don't even want to see it.
I don't want to see it either.
Because you know what? I'm glad you brought this up. Go ahead, continue.
So there are reports. So it's looking like a big bomb right now. It made $80 million its opening weekend, which is like I think historically low for like July 4th opening weekend, like number one opening weekends. Yeah,
horrible.
But there are reports this is the most expensive movie of all time.
I don't know. You're the movie buff, and I'm not. I heard that it's ridiculous to pay. I think it is, and I think this is a backdoor paycheck to Harrison Ford for all the money that he's made the movie companies over the years. Is that a good way of looking at it?
Well, I mean, that to pay him a lot for the reshoots. That's what I'm hearing really drove up the cost.
Of course
of the
it
movie.
is, because look at how old is Harrison Ford? Is he 80?
I believe he is.
Okay, he's 80. Okay, so this is like, okay, I'm going to be really ridiculous, okay? Do you know who Peter North is?
The name rings a bell.
Okay, you don't want to know who Peter North is. You want to see him in a movie when he's 20. Do you want to see him in a movie when he's 80? I mean, it's different type of movies here if you know where I'm going.
Sure.
Okay, but the bottom line is Indiana Jones was a young, vibrant guy who did all that crazy-ass shit. You ain't doing that when you're 80.
No.
So why do you think it's going to fail? It was a con by the artists. It's like the Avatar 3 movie. How much money did that make? That did not make
Avatar 2?
Which one? Did that make money?
That made over $1 billion.
Did it?
Yeah.
Still garbage movies.
I liked Avatar.
Yeah, everyone does. You see, that just tells you.
That's not true. There's a lot of Avatar haters like you.
Oh.
There's a lot.
Okay, that's good to hear.
That's like, I find it funny when people say like Avatar is overrated. I'm like, how can you say it's overrated? Like half the people hate it.
Oh yeah. I tried to watch it and I just go, that's not my kind of thing. In any event, what we were getting at with the Indiana Jones thing is that's the oversell. It's like a bad contract in like Major League Baseball. You pay 20 years.
I think a part of it too is that like it's Disney, it's Lucasfilm.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of people have lost their trust in them after the way they've kind of bungled Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
there's actually rumors that George Lucas is going to buy Lucasfilm back.
Really?
Yeah,
he's got the money.
He sold it for $4 billion. He's got the money.
So I mean, he's going to have to buy it back for more. They're not going to give him no bargain sale.
No, they're desperate to get rid of it by all accounts. And there actually is precedent for this happening before. Like long story short, the guy who created Power Rangers, he sold it to Disney 20 years ago for like I think $300 million. Bought it back for like $60 million, and then he just sold it to Hasbro a couple years back for like whatever, another 100-something mil.
This guy's a good businessman.
And that guy, Haim Sabani, wrote like every theme song of like the 80s and 90s too, which I think is just, except for the Power Rangers theme, ironically. But
oh, yeah, that's
we're
pretty
getting
cool.
off track. But
okay, no. The reason we're going to get, by the time we get to the end of this show and we talk about old things and bad money, it's probably a good segue that we brought up. And you know what? That's no disrespect to Harrison Ford, because I love
Harrison Ford.
I was just going to say, I loved him. My favorite Harrison Ford scene of all time is when he was the president and they were supposed to get him off the airplane. And then he comes up out of that portal like he didn't go because I'm staying here to fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's when I still get a shiver because, remember, we got to get the president off the plane. We got to save the world. And they shoot the thing off, and Harrison Ford, no, I ain't going nowhere.
Taking care of business myself.
Yes, I'm good. Come on, that's Harrison Ford, man. Come on,
like
he's
Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's like a top 3 favorite movie of mine.
You know what? The first couple 3 were great, and I even, when I thought they really, and we got to get going because this is not a movie show, but you know when I really thought it took it to the next level when they brought Sean Connery in as his dad.
Yeah,
that was cool. So where are you going to bring it now? I thought if Indiana Jones should have pulled a Apollo Creed, like, when they did the next level where Creed came along, like Indiana Jones should have came along and had like a gay son or some shit.
Well, they did have his son was in the last movie. Shia LaBeouf played his son. In the
right.
movie.
Yeah, okay, but that's what I'm saying. So it didn't go on. Like, you just can't have. Look, okay, I'm getting to retirement age. I can't run as fast as I could when I was 20. It just doesn't work that way.
You can fake a lot of that through movie magic, though.
And you wonder why.
Stunt doubles
and
all that.
You wonder why I only watch one movie a year, and it's usually which will be my 107th time watching The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Tuco. In any event, we are a sports show. It's interesting that we opened with that because I thought it was hilarious because we got Wimbignana to start our show in a weird kind of a way. Mm-hmm. And we don't usually go here too, but would be remiss of us to be in Shuey's Bar and Grill in Northern Etobicoke, the heart of Toronto, or at least one of the main arteries, if we didn't give a shout out to the 3-0 Toronto Argonauts, who beat the undefeated BC Lions, one of the biggest crowds in a while at BMO Field, wasn't it?
Really? Okay, that's good to hear.
I heard they almost got 20,000. Okay, 20,000.
I mean, a lot bigger than. I wasn't. Well, I don't know if I should be telling tales out of school, but the game we went to last year, I was not impressed with the turnout.
Or the Argos?
Yeah,
I went to one last year too. Didn't we? You and I were at the same game, right? Yeah,
against Hamilton.
Yeah, and what was the turnout?
Not good.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
It was mostly Tiger Cats fans.
Exactly.
It was embarrassing.
Well, that's just, you know what?
I don't want to poo-poo the Argos too much.
No, neither do I. And I still want to say that the CFL is a very vibrant entity that should be respected. But I'm still saying that we're in Northern Etobicoke. This is where the stadium's going to go for the NFL. It's coming.
I'm all here for it.
Okay, I'm here right now. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing that I heard about it. My son's best friend, he's a contractor. He's working at Woodbine. The new casino's open, which is 5 minutes from where we're recording right now. But I mentioned this to people a while ago, and then my son got it from his buddy that they were talking to people at Woodbine. Why is that 5-hectare space in Northern Etobicoke sitting there? Everything around it is being developed. Casino, hotels, townhouses, living, but there's this big chunk of land. Get up in a helicopter or get up an airplane, and it's been talked about, and you just go above Woodbine by the airport. People flying in the airplane, looking out the window, must be going, why is that spot empty there?
I think we could save this for this could be its own show.
Definitely, we'll get to another time. But anyways, a big shout out to the Toronto Argonauts for being 3-0, and they're the only defending champion that we have in the city right now, which we should tell them to shout over to their other poor so-called cousin in the city, Toronto FC, which is the polar opposite of what is going on with the Toronto Argonauts, at a team that's worth how much more, with how many big-name players, and they are an embarrassment to the city, so to speak, don't you think?
Second to last in the Eastern Conference as we speak.
Highest payroll in the league or second highest?
Yeah, they're up there.
They're right up there. They're top 3. Toronto FC, pull up your shoes. Toronto Argonauts keep on winning, and we want to thank Pinball Clemens and the crew. They did bring the Grey Cup here to shoot.
Yeah.
Yes,
twice I believe.
Yes, it is, and I think they're going to do one more party at the end of the year, but we'll let you know when it's happening because we got more important things going on, and that's starting with last night. at Comerica Park in Detroit City.
Alek Manoah back with the Jays. He actually had quite the good outing. 6 innings pitched, only 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, 5 hits, no walks.
The number one thing about that box score is this: no walks. That is huge. If you did notice Alex last night, and I don't want Alek, I should know that. In any event, Alek, I don't want to bring up anything Jenny Craig-ish. However, boy, looked like he lost a couple pounds, doesn't he?
Okay.
He looks like he lost a couple pounds. It looks like he doesn't have no pitches were thrown high. And number one things is the walks. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't walk anybody because the control. That was his number one issue when he went down. And actually, I'm quite surprised that he got back as quick as he did.
I was shocked as well.
You know what I mean? I was thinking
we were thinking
September, remember?
September, maybe never. You know, it's
no.
Well, not never, but maybe like not. I don't know. I wouldn't have been shocked if we didn't see him like by the end of the season. You know?
Oh, I didn't. I was all about that either. Now, I'm not going to talk about people and what they're saying on TV because there's sensitive subjects. You got to be careful about talking about an individual because you want to be talking about their performance on the field. You want to talk about what they do. But sometimes you also got to talk about the in-shape value of doing as such. Like, have you ever read Kobe's book? And Kobe used to say when Shaq used to come to training camp, Kobe would be furious. He wouldn't even talk to Shaq because he goes, oh, okay, you'll be good by Christmas, eh, Shaq? You know what I mean? Because he'd come into camp, you know, with a bag of burgers under his arm or whatever the case may be. That's a personal thing. But I hope that Manoah learns this. When I seen him pitch this year, the first thing I thought of is that his control and his mechanics were off, and part of the reason was he looked like a bigger man. Not that Manoah's any little guy.
It was funny, though, because, like, you weren't allowed to talk about that for the longest time until he got sent down to the Florida Complex League.
Yeah, go lose weight center. That's what it's called, the workout center, okay?
It's just, I don't know, like, listening to, like, the traditional media, whatever you want to call them, like, sports radio heroes, like, the beginning seems like, oh no, he looks like he's in the same shape, looks the same weight, and then after, like, no, he's overweight. It's like, what changed?
You know what? It's like, okay, let's go back to the great Howard Cosell, the great Al Ackermans, I'm trying to think of a few other people. They were allowed to say blatant stuff like Howard Cosell would say, hey guys, stay away from the barbecue.
Yeah.
You say that now, even I'm saying it on here, and somebody might come in and to our show and say,
you're fat shaming.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But that's not about that. He's a young man with a great career in front of him whose mechanics were out the window because he looked bigger than he normally was.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's not just about the result. It's about the process that goes into it, right?
Obviously, he went down with the great mindset to come back this quickly, and everybody looked like they were glad to get him back, and it was good to see him and Schneider having their little ta-ta-ta.
Well, we know he's a competitor. We know he's competitive, right? So, I mean, maybe it shouldn't be a surprise that we saw him back up this quickly, but, I mean, more power to the guy. I hope he continues down this track.
Oh, I agree. And then that's the thing I wanted to say. More power to him that he denied us and that was saying, I thought he'd be up in September.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I should have heard Atkins because he said he was going to be out at least 5 times in the rotation. What is that? He's been out about maybe 6 times in the rotation when you think about it. And we've only used the bullpen starter thing a couple of times.
Oh, I'm happy that's that's out.
However, you've come up with a theory.
I think actually he might have missed just like
at least 5 starts.
5 starts?
Yeah,
okay.
it is at least 5 starts. Because
okay, that's true. Because there was they had a day off, so they went like the 4-man rotation.
Yeah,
it
worked out for them.
Right?
Yeah, because early in the year remember all those games we had, especially all those games on the road, because the schedule was tightened up because of the refurbishing of the Rogers Center.
Yeah.
So now they've got it worked out well for them actually, because they had those days off to put the rotation over there. But speaking of the Toronto Blue Jays and the rotation, I don't want to be any Debbie Downer or anything, but I'm going to have to say this Kikuchi guy, he's having a great year so far. I'm thinking that I see some warning signs in his outings.
This is about the same time the wheels fell off last year.
I don't want to go there, but if you see his last 2 outings, like by the 3rd inning,
his numbers are starting to balloon, let's just say.
Okay, but I think they're going to bring it down because you came up with an interesting process that I don't agree with, but we got Rui, I never learned Ryu coming back. So before we were on the air,
we have options.
We have options. And one of the things that Mr. Milani said to me is, what about a 6-man rotation?
That's one option.
Tell me why you want a 6-man rotation.
Keep the arms fresh.
Okay. No Bob Gibson, no Warren Marshall, no Tom Seaver.
Bob Gibson wasn't throwing as hard as these guys are now.
Yes, he did. He threw a hunt through 98.
Well, how about his breaking ball? He didn't have the spin rate as like the guys now.
I want to go back and find out. I want to find out right now. I want to find out.
Guaranteed no.
I don't know about that. This is you know what? We got to go to 6 guys because okay, the house that happens, we're going to have a problem with this all the time. I love Mr. Melania across from me. He's young. That's why
you're that at me.
I'm definitely throwing it at you because everything's soft. We got to have 6 starters now. What are we in Japan?
I didn't say we have to. I said it was an option.
I don't want that option because then my
it's
guys.
It's the way to go in Japan. It's working there.
Listen, I don't live in Japan. I don't eat sushi. Okay, so I don't do any of that.
I love sushi.
I don't. I like raw clams and that's it. But anyways, no. I'm saying like what is happening here is like it's getting soft, bro. Okay, they just put up the great Ferguson Jenkins bronze in Chatham last week. I got a beer can with his stats on it. It's really, really cool. The guy won 20 games 6 years in a row and averaged 285 innings. That was in the 70s. Okay, so why can't someone do that today? Why?
Well, I mean, you're worried the guy's arm's going to fall off.
Sherman. No.
It's because the spin rate of like the breaking balls now.
You know what? The only thing I'm going to say is that I can't. They're not throwing the ball enough. That's what I'm just saying. Maybe they should throw the ball after. I don't get it. I'm not understanding why you can pitch 225 innings a year and get $20 million. That doesn't make no sense to me.
And there's also the thing I told you before too, where remember like those Tigers teams? They pitched all those guys into the ground in the regular season. What happened when they got to the postseason? Verlander, Scherzer, they're out of gas.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not believing that either. I'm saying you got to use your bullpen at times, and it's got to be selective. Okay, so let's put it this way. By the way, I think Verlander. We'll get to that. Verlander and Scherzer, I think, is another story about that. But I think that their longevity and their pitching was good. All those years, like okay, but those guys are late 30s. Verlander's 40 now. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. These guys have had long careers.
They have.
Okay, so I'm giving because we're not going to see many guys like that. My point is I don't want 6. I want the 5, and I want the guy. Okay, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you 100 pitches. Guy pitches 100 pitches, I'll sit that down. But if you're not efficient enough in 100 pitches, then you're a bum.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So like a guy's out there the other night, like I'm getting worried about Gausman a bit in this way. People are starting to read him because he's got that funky little pitch that falls away. So what's been happening is they're laying off it. Okay,
the splitter?
Yeah, you know it falls off the plate and it's not a strike. Okay, but a lot of guys are waving at it. So what he's doing now is he's coming back inside to the strike zone, but guys are sitting on that pitch. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that Gausman is a little bit more variety, but he's got the pure power to get guys out with the mix. He's got the pure power to do that.
Well, he's been our best pitcher.
Oh, by far and away. But is he a Cy Young guy?
No.
Okay, we're going to get
into our Cy Young guys later into this in this episode. But like, I do not have any Blue Jay pitchers in the conversation.
Oh, not at all. However, we have a couple of 7 or 8 guys now. What are you saying about this? Okay, so let's just go over the rotation really quick because we're
the Ryu thing, right?
Yes, that's what I'm curious. Is he really going to pitch this year?
I believe so. He thinks he can. Like he is super confident. Apparently, he's lost the weight. Which
he looks great. We
almost
discussed the last show. So
yeah.
Yes, okay. Now I heard that his velocity is there when they did that, which is huge. Okay, so like that, and he's going to have his command. So what do? Who do we sit down? We go from one Asian to another.
Oh my God, Cruz!
What can I say that? I forget because he's Korean.
I mean, that could be an option. Just like if the wheels do fall off for Kikuchi, you got.
I hope it doesn't because remember at the beginning of the season.
No, I hope not either.
Yeah, I love the guy.
We hope not.
Yeah,
but I mean, you got to talk about every situation,
yes,
here, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I could see the 6-man rotation being I don't know if they're going to go with that full time, but I mean, you could see some, like some spot start opportunities, kind of like.
Well, I'm going to say it's going to depend on where the Jays are in the race. Okay, so let's put it this way. I think that what we have on the Toronto Blue Jays is we've got 3 number 2 or 3 number 3 starters.
Yeah.
Is Gausman a number 1 go-to horse?
No, I'd say he's a number 2.
I say he's a number 2 too, which is Manoah, who looked like he was going to be a number 1.
He's supposed to be our ace.
And I think he will be, but I think Gosman's an ace too. So if we got 1 and 1A, I'll put him like that. But I don't hear anyone talking about the league about Gosman being most dominant pitcher in baseball or anything like that.
No.
But I want him out there every 5 days.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And okay, another guy, Barrios. I want him out there every 5 days. Because what's going to happen is, in this day and age, I don't care what anyone says. We're going to get this to a minute. All these rule changes that they have made, it's still a pitching game.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll get there. So if you want to believe this or not, with the pitch count, no shift, what's the other thing that they changed? Extra size bases. The run scoring has not gone up appreciably in that time.
No.
If you look at it.
No.
Do you know that there's only in the major leagues right now that there's only 13 guys that are hitting over 300?
I did. I knew somewhere in that ballpark.
It might be 15, but okay, if we're doing all this stuff to advance offense, why do we only have 13 guys in the major leagues hitting 300?
Well, none of those changes that were made really affected, whatever the pitch clock maybe, but even then, I think pitchers found pretty quickly a way to find their rhythm within the allotted time.
Okay, so then if they're doing the pitching's that dominant and the guys aren't hitting again, then I'm going to get back to my full circle thing then. Pitched 100 pitches, give me 7 innings, and I want 250 innings a year. And then I'll give you $20 million. Simple.
Well, the problem is, though, some guys just have bum nights. They got to yank him.
Okay, I'm not going to say that's because here's our number 1 guy, and I hope you're watching this. Mr. Bassett, what goes on between your ears when you're on the goddamn mound? This guy throws a hissy fit in a minute. He's 2 minutes away from a hissy fit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that's what I say. When your mentality is in, because then he gets off his game. If it doesn't go perfect for the guy, then he gets a little weird. Now I believe I believe in this old theory about putting Kirk behind the plate with him. If he needs his hand held,
he's second in quality starts on the team, though.
Oh, I agree with that, and that's good. But what's going to happen with the Toronto Blue Jays is all the little things that we've talked about all year are going to accumulate at a game at a certain time, and it's going to look like that Seattle game when we were winning 8-1 and we ended up losing. It's going to be like that. Like someone's going to make an error, or this is going to be the game that Bassett comes out and blows the start or something, because the Blue Jays have too many little idiosyncrasies involved this team that tells me they're not getting to the World Series.
I would argue that's already happened. We've lost so many close games due to base running errors and just brain fart moments on the field. You name it, it's happened. It's already happening.
And not only that, our defense is not up to what I thought it was. However, us being said, the Toronto Blue Jays are a top 10 pitching team statistically and a top 10 team hitting, which blew my mind. Yeah. It absolutely stunned me when I looked up. But that's from a batting average point of view.
Yeah, and there's more to just batting average.
Well, they say
even then, though. But I mean, you go through the Blue Jays lineup. Okay, Bichette's hitting 323. Guerrero is hitting 280. Good, but by his standards,
he should be hitting 300. He's a 300 hitter.
Merrifield 286.
Merrifield, I'm giving Merrifield. I'm going to get back to him in a minute, but I'm giving him he's hitting around where he's hitting. He's a solid professional hitter.
I think the problem is so Bichette's OPS is 856. And we have 3 guys hovering around 800, but that's it.
No kidding. So
yeah, so Guerrero and Chapman, they're just above 800 now, and then Belt's just below.
Okay, so I have no confidence in Belt the whole season. You know that.
I think he's too high in the lineup.
Oh, who else are we going to put him there? Who else are we going to put in the lineup?
I told you who I'd like, but I mean, who? I think I would put Springer
Gurriel?
there, but then I think it's part of his deal that I said. Let me finish. I let you talk.
No, I know. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, do you think Springer should go down in the lineup?
I would, but I mean, I think they got a deal in place where he wants to break the leadoff home run record.
Baseball is a team game, buddy. Hit 5th. No, he's still a good leadoff guy. I agree. But I'm not this year. Not this year. We should have somebody.
I would have Merrifield leading off.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think he has enough speed though?
He leads the team in stolen bases.
Oh, you know what? Here's nothing to talk about stolen bases. Screw stolen bases. Everybody can run. If I was out there, I'm stealing 20. Come on. It's easy to steal base. No, I'm giving him credit because he knows when to run.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but I mean, it's easier to steal bases now. You're only allowed to go over 3 times. On the count of 4, go. Stolen bases are up 40% or something outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay, and everyone knew that was going to turn into a track meet. So I'm glad Merrifield's got those stolen bases, and I'm glad he's got the moxie to keep himself moving around the base.
I think he's got the on-base percentage to lead off. He's got the speed. Why not?
I put Bichette there.
No, you want your best hitters in the 2 and 4 holes statistically.
For RBI purposes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not setting the table anyway, so they're not getting a chance at the RBIs. That's how I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? I think Belt is hitting way too low in the lineup. But
he should be like middle of the order kind of guy.
And not only that, I think the whole lineup is flawed anyway, offensive and defensively. Once again, I'm going to beat the same horse. Who's our regular second baseman? Okay, Merrifield. How do you do this?
Merrifield, I guess.
But then the next game he's playing left field. So I'm saying, you know that. In the history of baseball, I'm going to Sparky Anderson. Either you have a designated platoon or you have a regular second baseman shortstop.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a number of times.
We're beating a dead horse. I'm still saying, hey, Marino, over there in Arizona, you look like $1 million. But anyways, before we get off to Jay's topic, I want to know if you believe this. I watch too much MLB at times, and everybody's got this sneaky suspicion that the Toronto Blue Jays are going to raise their head and be the team that was so sexy at the start of the season and come down like Secretariat on the outside winning the race. This is a national. Oh, thank you very much. But that's the I've heard it on Intentional Talk. I've heard it with our guy.
I think they're looking at the talent on the team, and that's
what talent's going to be there.
Well, you got Guerrero. You're hoping he picks it up. Springer as well.
Okay, but I mean, if Guerrero,
hold on. Let me ask you this. So last season, your whole argument was the guys are going to start hitting their averages. Why can't that happen to the guys this season?
Well, they are. Here we go. Look at Chapman.
No, they're not.
Look at Chapman was down. Now he's getting down to his average. Okay,
but
Varsho, what's he getting at? His average. Kermeyer, what's he getting at?
Varsho's below his average.
Not by much. You think he's going to hit 280 for us? If Varsho don't hit, if he don't hit 280, he's not even worth it.
There's a chance he can get that on-base percentage out of the dumpster and that slugging percentage out of the dumpster.
Okay, and I still say Kermeyer is a part-time player.
Okay.
All right, so
but what about Springer, Guerrero, Kirk? Hello.
Oh, no, I think Kirk was overrated last year. He's going to come back down to earth. I predicted that, I think, in an earlier show.
But he's under 650 OPS. Come on.
Okay, and he's not going to get much better than that, I don't think. I think most of his starts are going to be with Bassett anyway. So I'm saying the lineup is flawed. We didn't get enough defense back for giving up too much offense.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Okay, so that's going to be killing us all year. So now when we have a lineup, which is I'm saying is horrible, and I've been watching the box scores lately, a lot of teams have the same lineup. The Pittsburgh Pirates have the same damn lineup, and they fell off the cliff. We're supposed to be in contention, and we can't figure out, like today, when we start the ball game today, let's predict the lineup. Okay, what do you think it is? Let's just really quick dump the Blue Jays. First of all, I think Boyd's pitching for Detroit, right? So I think it's a left-handed starter.
Let's see.
I'm not sure it's a left-handed starter, which will start this.
Manning starting for Detroit.
Okay, so what's his ERA? 6.5, right?
4.8.
Okay, good. The kid's come down. Anyway, my point being is now, so who's going to be...
he only has 22 innings pitched, this guy.
Because he's a bum. They tried trying to get him in there.
Is he a starter?
No, he's up from the minors. I think there's only...
So the lineups have already been announced.
Oh, really? Okay, so what are the Jays? What does it look like our lineup is?
So
Let me predict. We got Springer in the top.
No, it looks like a day off.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought he'd be DH. I thought he'd DH too. So take the day off because we had the 12-2 win. He did a lot of running around last night. So obviously the leadoff hitter today has got to be your buddy Merrifield, right?
No.
So the leadoff hitter, don't tell me it's Brandon Belt.
No.
Who is it?
Bichette.
Oh, dun, 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 dun. What did I say? Oh, well, I must have been. I hope my lottery tickets are that good. Bichette's our leadoff, right?
Yeah.
So that means Belt must be number 2.
Yes, he is.
See, why aren't I the manager? So Guerrero's number 3.
Yep.
And, oh, man, I think I'm hitting cleanup. I got a call this morning. There's a helicopter running my house. Who's hitting cleanup?
Chapman.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I think Chapman should stay in the 4 or 5. That means you're going to have Barshow protecting him, right? Who's going to protect him?
You're going to laugh.
No, not Kurt.
No.
Who?
I'd argue worse.
Okay, who?
Biggio.
Oh. You're killing me. He's hitting
5th.
What has he done to get to 5th? He just swung the bat last game.
He's left-handed. I think that's got to be the only reason why he's there. I think it's stupid, but
Okay, so everything that I've just said about the Toronto Blue Jays is in front of me right now, except for the fact that I called Bichette to do hit leadoff and Guerrero to hit third. And I like Chapman at fourth. But see, Chapman's numbers are coming down to his average too. He was hitting way above his head. Biggio, we don't even know what his average season is because he hasn't done enough to do it.
His average season is hitting like 180.
Okay, so now we're going to go fifth. So number 6 has got to be Varsho, right?
Merrifield.
Oh, Merrifield should be higher up in the order.
I agree. He should be higher than
Oh,
Biggio.
way higher than that. I thought maybe we could even put him in the third slot or second slot, something like that. You know what I mean? But what is he doing?
And this is the perfect day to start Merrifield at leadoff, honestly.
I could smell Bichette coming. I watched it too much. That's why I said it. Why not Bichette? It doesn't make sense. So that means the end of the lineup is Espinal's got to be in there now because if Springer's out.
No.
So Biggio's playing second base. Merrifield?
No. Biggio's in right field. Merrifield's at second base.
So who's in left field? Kermeyer?
Varsho.
Varsho with Kermeyer in center field?
Yeah.
We're going to have trouble scoring runs today.
Varsho, Kirk, Kiermaier are 7 and 9.
That's why we're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And what are we going to try to get the spec? We need a left-handed power bat.
We need one yesterday.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know where we're going to get it. I've been looking around the league, but we're already talking too much about the Toronto Blue Jays.
So you want to move on to our playoff picks?
Yes, okay. Before we move on to the Blue Jays, though, I'm really hoping that they have this miraculous run. You know, like second half, some teams just take off and get it. Like, we shouldn't sleep on the Philadelphia Phillies, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I don't know if the Blue Jays have the moxie to come down the stretch and make sure they get in the playoffs. I think if we're going to make the playoffs, it's going to be because of the flaws of other teams, not of the greatness of the Toronto Blue Jays, which we'll get into now if you want to talk about who you're for playoffs. So let's just look around the divisions and tell me who you think. We'll go with the American League first.
So I have Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and Texas winning their division, so status quo basically.
Okay, I agree with all three of those. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that the only thing that might change in a weird kind of a way is the Guardians getting into a fight, because even though that's the worst division in baseball, if you check the numbers, Cleveland and Minnesota are both top 10 pitching teams, which caught me off guard. Completely off guard.
Minnesota hits a little better, though, don't they?
I don't know either. Anyway, Minnesota's got the number one ERA. Their starting staff.
Yeah.
They got the best ERA in pitching in the American League, which is obviously the reason they're at the top.
Yeah, they have the best runs against in the American League.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's a long way. And their defensive fielding is also top 10, but they're not a hitting team.
No.
You know what I mean? You look around.
They've still scored more runs than Cleveland, though.
And Cleveland's not a hitting team because they got a bunch of young guys that are working it out. So I say in the long run, I'm going to go with the Minnesota call. But it's interesting that two teams that have pitching staffs this good don't have records because they're just hovering around 500.
Yeah,
correct?
basically.
I believe. Yeah,
Minnesota should probably be a bit better considering their pitching in that division.
One caveat that I'm going to say that when you look at statistics, and it has to be looked at this way, is they also pitch against the Tigers, the White Sox, and the Royals. Okay?
Okay.
So their pitching better be better when you're pitching against those three lineups.
Fair.
Okay?
Oh, but that's my point.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we got to take that into consideration. But your ERA is your ERA. Okay? And just really quickly, not to get back to the Blue Jays, everyone says, well, Manoah went against the Tigers last night. Last time I checked, that's a Major League lineup.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to put it that way. So I'm going to go with Minnesota, squeezing out the division just on their pitching staff alone and their defense. So we're going to go there as of now because this is the All-Star break. This is our pre-All-Star game show.
Next week, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so now the question is, who's going to be the wild card teams? We got 3 to pick, guy.
My top wild card is Baltimore.
The surprise team in MLB.
Yes and no.
Okay, we'll get back to them. Okay, here's the thing about Baltimore, which I'm going to say again in my old school thinking. As great as the Tampa Bay Rays have been, let's look at the records here. The last time I checked, Baltimore has only lost one more game than Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That's craziness, you know. And Baltimore is not a top 10 pitching staff, but they are top 10 hitting staff, and they're a top 10 fielding staff, and they go out every day, and their 1 to 9 lineup, it does not change. They're not the Toronto Blue Jays where we're going to figure out who's going to play second base, who's going to play that field. But again, it's because they developed like in the drafting.
Yeah, they did
overtime.
the full tank, like,
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
the Houstons and the Cubs.
Yeah, and all that, and they're there. But you got to have some kind of management to maintain it, because where's the Cubs? 5 years ago, the Cubs were the cream of the crop. Now look at them. They're bums.
They fell apart like it was like paper falling through your hands. You like the shredded pieces.
I call that the exit of Theo Epstein, but that's another show unto itself.
Well, and there were some things about the manager maybe rubbing people the wrong way.
Oh,
Joe Madden.
Yes. Yeah. And does Joe Madden even have a job right now?
I don't believe he does.
I don't think he'll ever be back in the majors.
And to think at one time he was considered the best manager in the game.
And he was, but I mean, like time is 8. Babsock's got a job again. Remember that?
It's true.
Okay.
My other 2 postseason or wild card picks are the Yankees and I have the Houston Astros.
I don't think the Astros are going to make it. I don't know who else. I just see there's Altuve's gone out. Their pitching staff's all over the place. Like, are they going to get there by default?
I mean, they're scoring runs.
Oh, they're mad scoring runs, but look at their team ERA.
It's better than the Jays.
Is it by what?
Not
by much, because once you get in there, once you get to 5 teams, if you look at team stats, where's my thing here? Get back.
So who do you have in the final spot then? Toronto, Seattle, the Angels.
I'm a fence-sitting freaking scumbag.
Pick a team.
Okay, you know what I'm going to pick? I'm going to say that's coming in the back door. I say the Yankees are not making it. Unless, I'm saying
you're disagreeing with 2 of the wild card picks that I have.
Okay, so one of the reasons I'm saying the Yankees aren't going to do it is because they have lineup issues too. Okay, and I think that their pitching staff has shocked me as being with the ERA that they have. Okay, so I'm just saying that something's going to happen along the line where they're going to, it's not going to pan out for them. I could be right, I could be wrong, but I'm not picking the Yankees. I'm really thinking that Seattle's going to have a race come down the back end.
So you think they can nab one of the final?
I'm thinking that Seattle could be one of the teams that comes in the door.
Baltimore, Seattle.
Baltimore, Seattle, and Baltimore, Seattle, and I don't know. Maybe we're going to have to go with our good friend, the Yankees. You know what it is? What I'm thinking of when I came in here, I was really going to yell for Toronto and say we're going to make the playoffs, but I already said that we're not, so I can't be jumping on and off the fence. What I'm going to say is that we should revisit this in about 3 weeks, because we don't know what's going to happen at the trade deadline.
Oh, that's going to be the
That's
going
to be you're going to right now. All of a sudden, you could do something like a team right now because looking this way, and all of a sudden, say we get that left-handed power bat that comes into the lineup and nowhere and changes the dichotomy of our batting lineup. Like, protect somebody.
Yeah.
Because the lineups aren't protected. You look at a team like Baltimore, you look at a team like Texas, they got guys that protect other guys in the lineup, so to speak. So, and that's why they're with their pitching staffs going on. Like, I really like Baltimore's lineup. I said earlier in the year, I thought they'd come back to earth. They're not coming back to earth, bro. You know what I mean? They're not coming back at all, which is great. And I hate Baltimore. I've hated them my whole life.
And you got to think that they're going to get some pitching help at the deadline.
Do they have the money?
I'm sure they could scrounge up a few bucks.
I think that what they're going to have to be, the thing about the Baltimore Orioles, and I'm going to say this, is that they have to be careful. Like, don't get too excited where you are, because someone might come and try to give them that extra starter that they need, but they're going to ask them for something that maybe they shouldn't give up. Do you know where I'm getting at?
Sure.
Or what do you believe?
I think they know, though, that they're still early in this building back up process.
Okay.
Where you're not going to throw the farm.
Okay, agreed. Okay, so who actually has, if you want to go, which we will do maybe next week because it'll be too time to talk about it, who really has the better lineup, Tampa or Baltimore? And I've been looking at it, and I'm saying Baltimore with their youngins, that rush stuff guy.
Are you talking about overall? Or
overall lineup, like when you look at it.
Oh, you got to take Tampa because of the pitching.
Well, this is the question. Baltimore has shocked me with their pitching. Like when you get to the quality start thing, Baltimore is ahead of Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay keeps doing that. Let's have those bullpen days and stuff.
But it's working.
It's obviously working, but it never gets you to the World Series. And now I'm just saying that. Everyone's talking about Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, and there's only one game in the loss column between them and Baltimore. That's huge. That's got to be saying that Baltimore's...
Tampa's got 5 more wins, though.
Okay, but I'm going last column first. I don't think Baltimore's going to win all those games. So let's say say they win 3 of 5. So it's only going to be 3 games difference. And Baltimore's got to play Tampa Bay. What is it? 8 more times, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I got my schedule right here. So I'm definitely saying this. Here's a theory that you always say, okay, every team says, rings are hard to come by in every sport. What if we get to September and Baltimore looks like any other team that's got a run at winning it all? Do you give up something on the farm that maybe you shouldn't to get, say, a Stroman, to get a Bieber? Well, they're not going to get him. He's in the same division. That would never happen. But you know what I mean? You're looking around the league. There's certain starters out there that you get. Maybe what's San Diego going to do at the trade deadline? They got a couple starters because San Diego's pitching staff's amazing. They're the biggest anomaly in the league. So let's get on record right now. I'm going to write it down so we're saying it. We're all agreeing that the 3 division winners are going to be Tampa Bay, Minnesota,
and Texas.
So we're going to go Baltimore. Now, I'm going to go out on the limb here and say something really insane. When Baltimore wins the division, don't be surprised.
So you're saying Baltimore to win the division?
I'm saying I think Baltimore is going to pull this out from some miracle back in the day. Because I think they got a better hitting lineup.
So you think Tampa's going to be a wild card team?
And I think Tampa will end up being a wild card team. They're going to be there. So I'm saying Minnesota's going to be there, Texas. I think Houston's going to be on. So I'm going to go with your New York Yankees. And I'm going to predict that something about where are they at right now. Can we take a look at them one more time? One more time is what I want to look at is how many games behind are the Seattle?
From the wild card?
Yeah, they're right there, aren't they?
4 games back.
They're 4 games, but they're still over 500 though, aren't they?
1 game over.
So I think
they're hanging in there.
So I think now if they just have to play a little bit better, that I'm going to call Seattle to sneak in the back door. And if they don't, we'll revisit this in about a month because I really think the trade deadline is going to be interesting in this way. You're going to have some big players going after. There's going to be some overpayments as usual, but I think this year is going to be more ridiculous because look at how tight the pack is. Mm-hmm. So one team we haven't even talked about has got big money. Is what if the Angels make a move? They're in trouble now.
They are in trouble.
Huge deal. Trout's going to be gone indefinitely. And Rendon. You see the shot he took off.
Doesn't Ohtani have a blister too?
Ohtani's got a blister. So you add all that up. I'd like to think the Angels there, but I think that Disney would pull some money out of their hat because
Disney doesn't own the team anymore.
Who owns it again?
Oh, it's one guy now that owns the Angels. Disney hasn't owned the Angels in a long time.
I forgot that. You're right. Hey, they have no call in baseball anymore, have they?
No. I heard it's
because
the
of
reason
regional.
that they want to get rid of ESPN is because they don't own the Ducks anymore. They don't own the Angels.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason why I think they bought ESPN to begin with.
Who would buy ESPN? But we'll get back to them later. Hold that thought.
I have no idea, but I have no answer for that question, by the way.
Well, we'll think about it in a minute. Anyways, I really think that the Angels and the owner, I know the owner guy. He's not a .com guy. We'll look him up anyways.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool guy, but he's got money coming out of his ass. He's kind of like, he's a quiet, the guy that owns the Clippers.
Ballmer.
He's a quiet Ballmer.
Okay.
That's what my remit, this is last. I love Ballmer though as an owner.
I love him too.
I absolutely love the guy.
Do I do National League picks?
Yes, we do. But anyways, to get back there, I think that the Angels are going to have to make a move because Ohtani's going to be on the free market. They're going to have to do something about
2
that.
years?
No, his options next year. They already got an option.
For next season?
Yes,
okay.
it's going on.
I thought he had another year with the Angels.
But this is it. I think that this is his option year, whatever it is. And then so for the 2025 season, he potentially next year.
Going to the Dodgers or Yankees or Red Sox.
I hope not. I hope he stays where he is. He's such a phenomenon. Like we'll talk about him.
He wants to win a World Series. That's not happening.
Yeah, not in the Angels. No, and he's going to become the Damon Lillard. Like I wanted to stay here, but kind of guy. Okay, so we'll move over to the National League, which we don't talk about enough. So could I say...
Well, we are an American League city.
Exactly, and we're Toronto, so we have to go there. But here's one thing I've noticed about the National League, and that's caught me off guard, kind of. First of all, they don't have as many complete games starting. The pitching staff seems to be... And the National League always seemed to be more of a pitcher's league over the years, right?
Yeah.
I found that the best teams in the National League don't have the pitching staffs that the American League has. Numbers-wise, including Atlanta, which I think Atlanta at times is the best team in baseball. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
I think they're the best team in baseball. And guess what? They don't even have the Fried kid playing for him. Like, is he going to make it back this year? Do you have any word on him?
I don't know about that. I thought he was going to miss the rest of the season.
I think he's going to miss the rest of the season too. Here's what I'm taking on them. I think that Strider guy is the best pitcher in baseball right now. I'll take him.
Fantastic.
He's unfreaking believable. I like his moxie. I like his style. What has he won? 11 games, I believe.
Only his second year in the minors or in the majors as well.
Oh, the kid's got. Oh, he blows me away. My thing about him is he should have more wins. Spencer Strider's only has 10 wins. He has a couple of blown saves. He's had a couple of things where he's had no run support. You know what I mean? But the guy is unfreaking believable. How old is he? Do you know?
He's like early mid-20s.
I think Atlanta's racing to the World Series again.
Could very well be.
Because I don't really see any competition for them in the National League because the teams are all over the place.
I mean, playoffs, anything could happen.
Oh, that's just a gimme.
I think we're probably both on the same. He's 24, by the way.
24. Oh, he's just, I love him.
He's got a long career ahead of him. I think we're both on the same page that the Braves are going to win the NL East.
Yes.
It's back to the old days of them just dominating that division.
Yes.
I have Milwaukee winning the Central.
I understand that.
And have the Dodgers winning the West.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to chase down Arizona?
They're only half a game back.
I think so, too. I think Arizona's not going to make it either. I think Arizona might even have trouble to
make the wild card.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I have him as a wild card.
Yes, okay. I'm just trying to look.
I think they hang on to a wild card spot.
Do you?
Yeah. I have Arizona, San Fran, and Philly making the wild card.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Philly to make it, too. I really like it. I think they had all those problems early in the year as they're coming around now. Their pitching staff's getting a little bit better. I should have a few names on there. I think that I really think we'll talk about this in a second, where the wild card's coming. I mean, where the MVP is coming from. But I think that hitting going on in Philadelphia, look at their staff with Schwarber and Bryce and the couple of Latin players. I know that one guy's coming out of nowhere. He's got 50 RBIs already. Philadelphia's got one of those teams that they're like dirty, and they were just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just dirty. They're gritty. They have a lot of things baseball that is going to be there, and they're in the hunt right now, aren't they?
They're a good pitching team too.
And they're a good pitching team too, and they have a decent bullpen.
Yeah.
Another thing is their bullpen numbers are looking really good. So I'm saying there, and I'm saying that I don't think they're going to catch Atlanta because they had such a horrible start.
They're 11 games back. Yeah, I think Atlanta's got the division in the bag.
Oh yeah, the issue with me is that I really respect. The thing that I respect about Philadelphia is they being that horrible start. Remember, didn't they start like 2-something or
yeah, they were
4?
terrible.
And they were like
I thought they were out of it right at the beginning, but they've really climbed out of it.
And that's what I'm saying. So now you're only going to get better, and they're going to come down the right. Like they got that. I'm not going to say that they're good. There's no way they're going to catch. But look at Philly, 8-2 in their last 10.
They're one of those teams that just like they got that dog in them.
That's what I'm saying. There's something about them that I'm saying when the playoffs. I don't think nobody wants to play them.
Oh, I mean, they just made the World Series.
Exactly.
Of course not.
So nobody's going to want to play them, and I'm not another team I hate, but I'm going to give them respect.
I got no time for
I got no
Philadelphia
sports.
either.
You know what? And anywhere there, the question is, so we are not giving the Miami Marlins any love?
I think they're starting to fall off. They can't hit. I think that's one of the things that's really.
They got a couple young pitchers though.
Yes, but the guy that was the dog for those, the alpha for them last year is kind of started to fall off.
Yeah, well, I don't. Is he a question of your theory of pitching too much?
That's definitely because he was like what he pitched like 220 last year, didn't he?
No, he pitched more than that.
Oh, there you go.
But that's no. We're gonna argue again, youngins. You don't pitch 250, you're a bum.
So I guess everyone's a bum.
He's a bum. You don't pitch. Come on. Why is this like? And now 6 starters, 220. Give him 20 mil. Stop it. Come on.
I'm with you there about the money.
Oh, the money's crazy. But anyways, I'm thinking. I don't know, because what we got to say then is, if you believe Milwaukee is going to win that division, are you saying that the Reds can't make the playoffs?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
They're a monster hitting team, but they're also allowing a monster amount of runs.
I'm saying that I'm hoping that Cincinnati gets in. I'm calling.
I like Joey Votto.
I'm just for Joey Votto here, and Etobicoke. Where are we? Welcome to Etobicoke. So I'm saying this: if those three, we're all agreeing, Tampa Bay,
or Atlanta,
and LA. So I'm gonna
get rid of Tampa. The word.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Yeah. So we got Milwaukee. So I'm going to say making the playoffs. Philly's going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Okay.
San Fran?
San Fran's going to make the playoffs. And I'm saying Cincy is going to make the playoffs. It's either going to be Cincy or one of those teams.
Oh, so you think Cincy comes in as a wild card?
Why not? Why not?
Wow.
Why can't they be there?
Why not Arizona?
Well, one of them's going to make it. Well, I don't know. Okay, here's one of the things that we're going to talk about before we go any further. Now, here's our prognostications on what we believe is going to happen, which is going to change the All-Star break. We're going to come to completely different. This is what we're saying is All-Star break 2023. This is what we look like, and we're not even calling the team that we want the most to make the playoffs. Okay, so I've got a national publication in my hand again. Okay, one of the big national, and I'm not going to say it is because I don't want to embarrass them in their prognostications. But let's just go take a look at what they are saying.
You could say you're punching up. That's okay.
It's Lindy. It's Lindy. It's not the Sporting News. The other one's at home, but the Sporting News. Sporting News is 3 degrees away from this one. Okay, when you look at it like as where it's going to go. So we're talking about what they're going to say who is going to win, and they're not even close. Okay, they're saying their division winners are going to be the Yankees, the Guardians, and the Astros.
Okay.
Any of those teams going to win their divisions? Okay, let me say that again. The Yankees, the Guardians, and the Astros. Are any of those three going to win their divisions? All those teams are going to be hard-pressed to make the playoffs.
Maybe the Guardians.
What?
Maybe the Guardians.
Okay, so their wild card, they believe, were this, which is, I think, is a lot more accurate. The wild card teams they had, Blue Jays, the Rangers, the Rays, and the White Sox.
How do they have 4 wild card teams?
I have no idea. And they're saying
they couldn't decide.
Okay, and the AL champion is supposed to be the New York Yankees. Do you see the Yankees coming out of the American League this year?
Not.
Not at all.
I do not.
I do not either. But that's an interesting take that they've got on it. So now, before we go any farther, let's take a look at where we can really take a swing at things, okay? They predicted division winners. The Braves. But everyone, we all picked the Braves. They picked the Central Division, the St. Louis Cardinals. Are the Cardinals even going to get a sniff at the playoffs?
Absolutely not.
Okay, how did this happen to the Cardinals? They're almost 20 games under 500 and a traditional great baseball team. What happened to them except that they were the Coyote, bought some Acme products, didn't work out?
I think they're old.
That's too.
They had a bunch of guys with career seasons last year. Usually that's a bad sign.
Okay, and now here's what they're saying. The West winner. Guess who they thought the West was going to win, which I thought easy.
Were they saying San Diego?
Of course. And San Diego, are they going to make the playoffs? I doubt it. So here were their wild card teams, and they've got 4 here too. They got the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Phillies.
Brewers, Dodgers, Mets.
I love what happened to the Mets. I really do, because my point is this. I think it's amazing for baseball, which is the capitalist American greed, so to speak. 3 of the smallest market teams that have gotten the shit kicked out of them for a generation now, being the Cincinnati Reds, the Miami Marlins. You can't say Arizona so much because they've had some money there competing, but there are 3 teams that they weren't even on the board. Look, nobody's even talking about those teams, and all 3 of them are in the hunt right now. They're in the hunt. And you know what even more I like about those teams? The way they play ball is exciting. Arizona's an exciting team. You see them get on the field, you don't know what's going to happen. You see Cincinnati on the team, they look like Joey Votto must be having the most fun of his baseball career.
Certainly looks that way.
Oh, he's got that Cruz kid on there. The catcher guy is a whole bunch of fun. We should pull up the Cincinnati lineup, really. Because
we got to get to our MVP and Cy Young picks.
That's going to be so easy. It's ridiculous, okay? But in any event, we'll get back to them. I was a Cincinnati fan when I was a kid. 2 teams I grew up on that I always really liked was Pittsburgh. When you always hear those things with the crazy uniforms. And did you see Pittsburgh uniforms the other day?
No.
Oh, they're so cool. They're like, God bless, I love anytime I can bring up his name. Tony Kornheiser, my favorite guy ever. He said, the great things about alternate uniforms is they should have a reflection of what the city is.
The NBA does that the best of
anybody. NBA's got, and he brought up the NBA, by the way. Mm-hmm. He brought them up, and he said Pittsburgh seems to be the one with an alternate jersey that reflects their history. It looks like the traditional one, and it almost looks like it'd be the one where they wear those pillbox hats with the stripe. Yeah. It looks like they could be on there, and it's got the PGH on it with the traditional yellow, the mustard colored and stuff. Just a great looking uniform. It's too bad they fell off the cliff.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah,
eight
and
and a
they're
half
gonna
games back of
No,
the division now.
they're going back. They're going just like when I was yelling about my Tigers were 500 for 15 minutes. They're gone to be nowhere to go. But big shout out to these teams that are supposed to be small market teams that come in there because look at the two New York teams. They were talking about a Subway series.
That's a long way off.
That ain't happening
No.
at all. But we want to give a big shout out for those teams because there's something to be said about being the most capitalistic sport in the world outside of probably soccer. But the fact that these teams can compete, that they found a way to get around it. You know what I mean? Like with their drafting, their staffs or whatever. And big shout out to Cincinnati. I hope they're down the stretch. But like we're saying, when it gets to the trade deadline, those teams are in trouble for this reason. Are they going to have the money to blow? Like, do the Miami have? Do they have the
Probably
money?
not.
You know what I mean? Or Cincinnati? What are they going to pull out of their ass to just say, okay, we got this player to go any farther?
Or are you gonna get like the owners will be like, oh, here's another mill to spend at the deadline. Oh, thanks, boss.
Yeah. Thanks for the mill. But what are you going to do? Well, that's going to pay the beer bill for the rest of the year.
Buy you one reliever.
Yeah. A guy that's going to be your fifth reliever that's come out for one batter in the seventh, which you can't even do anymore, which is another thing that's starting to irritate me about the new rules, too.
It bugs me, especially in playoff time.
Oh, you can't. He's got to face three batters. It's against everything baseball. But anyways, we're going to move on a bit here because we've been rambling away. Other things we want to talk about.
Let's do American League MVP and Cy Young picks.
Okay, right off the top can you really tell me, is there any other choice but Ohtani for MVP?
There isn't.
Okay, do you agree with me?
I would say like the other. I gave my top three. So Diaz on Tampa Bay and Robert on the White Sox.
He can't get in because he's not even in contention. So I'm not letting the house that happens says you got to be in contention.
Yeah, no,
that's
but
a new rule. You brought up
different.
Roberts. I looked. No. I still am playing.
Hold on, baseball's
He's great.
baseball's different though. Where like you see guys winning MVP who don't make the playoffs.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Last 10 years. You think? Look up
Okay.
last 10 years. No, that does not. No more Andre Dawson winning the MVP. No more Jeff Burrow winning MVP. You don't even know who Jeff Burrow is.
No, I don't.
Okay. Anyway, he had a major season for Atlanta. He had 40 home runs, did 140 RBIs, batted 300. Never heard of him again. No, that's not happening. The team.
Okay.
I'm going to give you. So I can't get Roberts in. Great season, by the way. Okay, he's having a great season, and there's a couple other guys. What's his name what's his name on Houston? Not on Houston, on Arizona. But we're not there yet. We're in.
No,
in
so let's do
okay.
American
so
League
who'd you
Cy
say
Young.
now? No, who'd you say for your MVP?
Ohtani.
Is no doubt. Okay, so you're saying you're Cy Young?
Nathan Eovaldi from Texas.
Got him on my fantasy team. He's right up there for me, baby. Oh, yeah, I like Eovaldi all day, twice on Sunday. But once you get past Eovaldi, who do we have here?
I got Ohtani and Valdez would be on my
I
ballot
don't know. I wouldn't have an Ohtani on mine because I think he's pitched well, but I don't think he has the numbers. I think there's guys that are better. I think I would vote for.
I don't know about that.
Look at Gozman's numbers compared to him. Okay, let's start with that. Let's look at a couple guys at the top of the Tampa Bay rotation.
Ohtani's whip is under 1. Come on.
No. He's not. He's not. Okay, let's just go down the list here real quick because I got all ALB. Can I get this to American League? Okay, why didn't it go to?
So who else would you go with? Sonny Gray, McClanahan?
No, I don't like Sonny Gray at all. But I'd have to give votes for Jarrett Cole, especially if he doesn't freaking. Because it looks like he's starting to have some injury issues, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the problem. So I don't know if he's going to make it down the stretch. But I was saying that the two with Eovaldi and Jarrett Cole were 1 and 2 for me. The guys that I thought the most.
Higher than Valdez.
Yes, higher than Valdez.
Wow.
Yep. I'm not the biggest Valdez guy.
His numbers are unreal this year, though.
Yeah. Okay. Did he win last year?
I think he might have.
Okay, here's the problem with him. Okay, he's got I like the fact that he's pitched over 100 innings. Okay, and I like the fact that his ERA is ridiculous. So we have to. Yeah, I guess I should give him more credit. But I've just seen a couple games where I've seen him blow up. You know what I mean? At the wrong place at the wrong time. But then why am I saying that? Every pitcher in baseball has a blow-up game.
That's true.
So, okay,
He's got 12 quality starts out of 16.
You know what? I'm going to shut up and say, yeah, we got to get him. Because I don't think Sonny Gray is. I think Sonny Gray's doing it with mirrors.
His whip's very high.
Yeah, okay.
He's only allowed 3 home runs, though.
Oh, I know.
That's
Because you know
incredible.
why? Because he throws so goddamn slow. You got to hit it twice as hard to get it at the goddamn park. He's one of those guys.
You're not wrong.
Oh, no kidding. But, some of the guys, like when Gozman, if he catches piss, it's yard.
Oh, yeah.
But Sonny Gray looks like sometimes, is that going to get through cardboard? He's got, you know what he's in the league so long I like about him? Because a few years ago, remember he kept getting traded to this team and everyone wanted him and everybody did
Yeah,
this
like
and that?
he after Oakland, he was kind of like floating all over the place.
Be the guy,
yeah.
right? But is he really that good? Is he really that good? Oh, my.
I think he's good. Is he great?
No, he's not great at all. He's a bum.
NL MVP. I have Acuna.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I had a flip. I don't know who because I like Olsen too.
Olsen too.
It's going to come out of Atlanta. The MVP's coming out of Atlanta. There's no, in my mind, like who was you going to give it to?
I mean, Carroll on
Oh,
Arizona's got to
love
get
him.
some love.
He's definitely top. He'll probably end up top 3. He's probably going to make money on his contract.
And then I have Mookie Betts up there too.
No, I don't think Mookie Betts is enough. I thought Freddie Freeman should be just get there. So they're going to kill the votes in that team.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because Freddie's having a great season too.
It's true. It's
you know,
true.
Mike. So who would you want? But you know what? You give Betts a
That
little
was the
bit.
problem with them last year, I guess, as well.
But
Right?
you know, I give the lean to Betts is that Freeman plays first base. Mookie plays in the outfield, and he's still one of the best defensive players in baseball. He threw a guy out third base the other night. Classic Mookie.
I still think that's the biggest mistake the Red Sox ever made was letting him go.
But you know what? They're stupid too. They let Bogarts go. Why did
There
they
you
do
go.
that? But okay, so we're talking about this. Okay, so you're agreeing. So what are we saying? MVP?
Acuna.
I'll take Acuna too.
Now, for this NL Cy Young, I'm a big old fence sitter.
Oh, you are. You are.
I would give it to Stroman just because I love him.
That's what I'm saying. But he can't win because he's on Chicago. But it's a little different.
Cy Young's different, though.
Yeah, Cy Young, yeah. So we're going to
That's like, it's not most valuable, it's most outstanding.
most
right?
outstanding player. So we'll look at it that way. I think Stroman's right up there.
There's a number of guys in the NL. I mean, like Kershaw's having a monster season.
But he's injured again. He'll be done. What about the guy in Colorado? I mean, on Arizona. What's his name? He's
Gallen?
Yeah, he's like he came out of nowhere. Who is this guy?
No, he's sick. Blake Snell's having an unreal season.
He's on a team that's not. He must be pissed. He went to San Diego for money in a lineup.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? I really think if San Diego has a little bit of second half run, that Snell will come in the back door as the winner.
I think I might be talking myself into Blake Snell, but
Me too. He was I had it somewhere in this list. He was right up there with it. But we all love
actually,
Stroman.
you know what? I think it's Gallen, actually.
Look, that's what I'm
Gallen,
saying.
yeah.
Look at Gallen. He came in. Where did this kid come from?
Like, because he's pitched almost 30 more innings than Blake Snell already.
Yep. I think he's got the most innings pitched in the majors. I believe he's right up there.
Definitely most in the National League. The only guy that's even close to him is Logan Webb on San Fran.
Oh, another potential. You know, if he had more wins, he'd be up there. I like Logan Webb a lot. He's going to be, in my opinion, can I say this now? That I really believe that Logan Webb is going to be a Cy Young candidate for the next 5 years.
Okay.
He's young
Love
enough.
it.
He's got that. I really like him a lot. And I think that's why San Francisco stored up some pitching. You look at their pitching staff, they've got a lot of guys under 30. You know, and that's the formula, so to speak, isn't it? I don't know. I'm not a GM right now, but I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take Gallen too. I looked at his numbers, and you know what? Where was he last year?
Just north of nowhere.
Exactly. That's what I'm just saying. It really surprises me. Give me a second here, because I'm gonna look it up really quickly. Yeah, really, really quickly. What did he do last year? Here we go. I'm gonna have him right in my pocket. Mr. Galen, because he's young, isn't he? Yeah, he did. He still had 31 starts last year, but he only pitched 184 innings.
Oh, he's gonna cruise past 200 this year.
Easy, but I forgot he had a 2.54 ERA last year.
So probably just not getting the attention because of the team he played for.
Yeah, I think so too. And his ERA was okay. It was a 3.24. He won 13 games. He's going to blow by that this year. So I'm going to take Galen, and you know what? I'm going to retrack because I'm looking at it. I can't be fooled. Let's just say we're going to go with Valdez. The house that happens is going to agree. We're going to take you calling Valdez for Cy Young?
I said Evaldi.
All right. Yeah, because he's going to be on a team that wins. I'll take it. Okay, we'll take Evaldi and Galen. That's who I like. I like Galen. And you know what it was about taking a guy like Galen is? We never talked about the guy.
Exactly.
We never seen the guy. We don't go watch the team. So I'm going through the numbers, and I seen him coming up in MLB. And then the morning guy, Mark DeLaRose, and all those guys said, why aren't we talking about this kid? Because he's a great pitcher. And now look at him. And he had a decent year last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I also thought that if his numbers were a little bit bigger, one of the MVP candidates had to be Carroll from Arizona too, don't you think?
He was right there on my.
He's on your
my
list
top
too.
3.
Yeah. I had him there too. Like, he's having a great number, but you even like better about him. He's one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball. So when you combine,
that can get him some love.
That's what I'm saying. When you look at the all-around game he's got what, 18, 20 home runs. He's over 50 RBIs, and he's hitting around to the 300 mark. And let's get back to it. Only 13 guys in baseball hitting 300, bro.
Insane. Pitchers League.
Yeah, but then the pitchers suck because we got to take them out all the time because they can't go 7 innings.
Okay, well, we're spinning circles here.
Yes, okay. So
we'll move from Toronto's summer sport to Toronto's other summer sport, hockey.
Okay. Toronto's other, and I agree with that. So can I ask you one question? What do you want them to do with Nylander?
I want them to sign a good team-friendly contract.
And I want a unicorn to have a leprechaun on my driveway by morning with a bag.
You know what? Like, I don't know. This is something I'm not going to stress about. It's like something's going to happen or it's not.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking is going to happen here. You know what? There's something weird. We got the flat cap here.
Yeah.
And that's really screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to say that. Rumor has it within 2 years, that's going to go up $9 million. This just seems sketchy to me. How can he go from $1 million? So in 2 years,
because the lawyers are running the show.
And drinking with their buddies, the agents.
There you go.
You know, who are lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you add it up, I'm just saying there's something really weird going on. And I'm going to go back to last week. And the more I look at it, I thought these two guys are the smartest going. That's Duchesne and Bertuzzi. How they did those one-year deals and go on. Let's see what's going to happen. So something's going to break with the salary cap. So if they give Nylander $10 million,
which they're not,
40 goals scored, 26-year-old kid, what is that worth in the NHL right now? $10 million. just saying. I mean, what is the average? You go down to the store and you buy a crate of milk.
He doesn't play penalty kill though.
He looks good coming into the arena. How's that?
I don't know. You compare him to like all the other guys making $10 million in the league, and
not all those guys scored 40 goals. How many guys are making $10 million? McKinnon?
Okay, we can find that quickly here.
Carlson, but he's a defenseman. Carey Price, but he doesn't play anymore.
No.
Okay.
He's a dead cap, basically.
Yeah. But you knew we're going to get about that in a minute when we finish talking about the NHL here.
So in the NHL, there are 15 players with a cap hit of $10 million or more.
I thought it was almost. I should have known this. I thought it was 20, but a couple guys just came off them. One of them is Kopitar.
I will read you the players.
Okay, here we go.
Barkov is one. Is Nylander better than him? No.
Yes.
No.
Why? What's Barkov do better?
He's a Selke guy.
So what?
Point per game guy that can play both ways as a center, more as a harder position. No. Kopitar, is Nylander better than him?
No.
Bobrovsky, yes, but it's a goalie.
Yes,
that's
okay.
a little different.
But see, that's the one. No, goalies just take him out of there in defense.
But so
Bobrovsky's the worst contract going, except he got into the finals.
This is a guy who I can't believe is making 10. This might be the reason why Nylander might make it. Actually, Huberdeau.
End of story. Who would you rather have? Okay, the agents are going to bring that up. Huberdeau's way overpaid, but he could come back. He's young. Let's not give up on him. I thought it was a terrible.
But even then, who? If you're taking both players at their best, I would probably take Huberdeau.
No. Nylander does. You know why Nylander? Because he looks like a lazy Swede, but he's a great player. Come on, I'd take him over Huberdeau in a minute. Okay, keep going.
Carey Price, but dead kid.
Yeah.
Marner, I'd rather have Marner.
Yeah, of course.
Tavares, I'd rather have Tavares.
Really?
Doughty, I'd rather have Doughty. Plays a premium position, center.
Okay,
responsible both ways.
I don't know now at Doughty's age but I would take Doughty over Nylander. Doughty's 30. 30 what?
33. He is.
I'd still take
he's getting
Doughty.
towards the end of that contract, though.
And he's going to get one anyway. He deserved his 10 mil.
Pasternak, I'd rather have him over Nylander.
Oh, yeah, okay, he's worth the 10 mil.
Erik Karlsson is another kind of like...
but he's a
The season,
defenseman.
he had an unreal season.
Oh, great. So he earned his paycheck.
Matthews, obviously.
Yep.
McDavid, McKinnon, obviously.
Yeah.
Panarin, that's another kind of like...
I'd rather have
one.
Nylander. He got paid because he at that
went
time
to free agency.
Yeah, and at that time the demand for him was there. So Nylander's going to get his 10 mil. Like when you go to the table, I will say this, and the only guy, and I'm sorry, Overdrive. I haven't watched you guys in about a week. Haven't missed a thing, but I will.
There's no point in watching now. O-Dog's not even there.
That's what I'm saying. When I turned it on, where is he after the summer?
Yeah.
You took the summer off?
Oh, well, yeah, because that's his contract. He's working like every day, like nights and whatever, like September to...
So he's good. He won't be back until September, right?
Yeah, probably when training camp opens.
Good. Then he won't ask basketball people dumb questions.
Or baseball people.
Or dumb questions. But you know what? I will say this about O-Dog, and that's why he's on there, and I like him. Like we say about Canadians, bland, polite, cranky. He's the cranky part on it. But he made a great statement last week. He goes, you're an NHL player, right? And you're going in. These are the prime years of your career. And you look around the NHL and you see what people are doing, and you just scored 40 goals. What do you got in your back pocket? 10 mil. That's just 10 mil. That's just a way of doing business in the NHL round. You score 40 goals, and look, he's on a trajectory is going up. This is his, fourth 30-goal year season? Mm-hmm. Okay, so he scored 30, and this is twice he scored over 35. So he was close to having more than one 40-goal season, but he doesn't. Yeah. So 40 goals is 40 goals. 39 is not 40.
Well, I don't think the problem is the player. I think the problem is just, the way they've arranged the cap. It's like hanging on to all five of those guys is going to be an issue.
Okay, and I don't think they'll be able to, even with the $9 million cap in 2 years.
Going.
But anyways, I'm going to tell you the problem with Nylander, okay? I'm going to tell you my personal opinion.
Okay.
You can give me this, and Don Cherry's going to love me. He's from Sweden, and he has that Swedish attitude sometimes. And I don't know what it is about
Swedish attitude?
I don't know how to explain it, because then you're either going to sound
to
xenophobic, you're going to sound racist, you're going to sound...
I mean, you're already sounding xenophobic with the way you're starting, so you might as well go for it.
Okay, so the problem is those guys look like they don't try sometimes. Like some games, Nylander's not even there. You can't find him.
I agree with you on that.
And that's what drives me crazy. And then the next game, he's the best player on the ice. Nylander's got some pure skills that Matthews doesn't have, Marner doesn't have, Tavares. You know what I mean? Like that inbred. Okay, and the poster child for this is Kent Nielsen. You know who Kent Nielsen is?
Yes.
The Magic Man. Okay, and number 2 is Matt Sundin. What did those guys ever do? What did they ever win? What did they ever get?
Oh, Sundin had nothing to play with here, though.
He
was on a line with me and
defender.
you.
So no, what? I would have scored. Come on.
Sundin was on a line with me, you, and your cousin.
Can I be on? Okay, that's good. My cousin would have scored 30 goals on Matt Scenes I've tried. He should have set me up more. Come on. You know what? I'm going to say, can I be on record as this? I think that a lot of people listen to sports shows in Toronto, and the house that happened is growing. I'm the biggest Matt Sundin hater ever.
Okay.
I want to be on record as being the biggest Matt Sundin hater ever. Okay, can I say it again? Hey, big shout out, happy birthday to Mrs. Milani. I believe she was a Sundin fan, wasn't she?
She does like Sundin, yes.
Did you say your mom's not going to like me as much anymore after this?
No.
Okay, so you tell her.
The first time I told her that you didn't like Sundin, she's like, what?
No, tell her to listen today. I want to be the biggest Matt Sundin hater ever. That guy, you know what I mean? There's so many. But anyway, I think Nylander's he's not near anything like Sundin. Like that way. Because he shows up more and he does some stuff. Did Matt Sundin ever score 40 goals? Oh, he scored 100 points.
He scored 40 goals a couple times with the Leafs.
I think he did score 40. Any event is, I'm saying that there's something about some of these Swedish guys that there's not enough. Hedman's from Finland, right?
No, he's Swedish.
Not enough Hedmans, too many Sundins. And in the history of Swedes, and you don't want to, no disrespect against them, but if you go back and you check the history of these guys, okay, Peter Forsberg is the biggest anomaly of all those guys. Nastiest Swede ever. You know why? Because his dad sent him to the Quebec League when he was a teenager, which I think is the smartest thing that ever happened, because he says, we got the skate-around league over here.
Yeah.
Son, you're a little smaller. You think you're good? Let's send you over across the thing. And then when he got there and everybody took fucking shots at the kid, made him the toughest. Like, I take, in my opinion, if someone said, who are the 10 greatest hockey players of all time, he's got to be number 12. I don't know. I'm going to put him up there. I love Forsberg.
He was a hell of a player to play against.
He sharpened his stick at the beginning of the game. He threw his elbows. He knocked people down.
He was an SOB.
Oh, and he was Swedish. We don't have many Swedish players like that. You know what I'm getting at? So Nylander is going to get his $10 million based on his skills and 40 goals. I don't think he deserves it, but
it might be with another team, though.
Really? You really think he's going to be traded?
I think the Leafs are working up a trade to get like that top 4D, someone to really complete that D.
So who's the top 4 guy? Who are they going to chase? They're going to chase for Carlsberg?
No, it's not. No, it's someone like who's a little bit more of like a defensive-minded guy. Give
me an example.
Brett Pesce in Carolina is one that comes to mind.
Carolina not giving him up. They drafted a defenseman.
No,
they can get him for 1 more year. They got to run with this team. He's under contract.
He's heading to free agency as well.
That's not for another. They keep him on for another year. His name keeps coming up.
Same situation as Nylander's.
There you go. So what? You trade one for the other?
Yeah.
He won't get paid as much as Nylander though.
No,
but he's still going to be $6-7 million guy.
Potentially.
Okay, what was Carolina signing in the free agency? They went out and got another defenseman.
They got Orlov. Well, exactly. Less cap to go around to spread on the defense.
Okay, but they're this close. See, Carolina being this close, they're going back to my theory.
Well, they're already looking for an upgrade on Pesce anyways. So I don't think his time there in town is.
So they're worried about the contract money and the salary cap, perhaps, maybe, right? But okay, we're going to go back to my other thing, and I think that I'm trying to get you on board with this, so it'll be a house theory: is 6 defensemen win the Stanley Cup?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to go with that. Maybe 8.
Maybe 9.
Maybe 9. Okay, so we're all going to go for a defenseman there. So why would Carolina, who just had a kick at the can?
But what was their problem come playoff time, especially
scoring?
There you go.
Okay, so they're going to figure out how to score, and they just picked up what's his name to play with.
Bunting.
There you go, which could be an upgrade for more scoring there. Whatever you want.
He's going to help.
He's going to help.
Is he the help that they need?
I don't know. Nobody's. Look, that was nice timing, nice synchronicity. Anyways, the bottom line is, I don't think that Carolina would want to give that guy up. You got to find a different guy like that. Come smell Montreal. We got a bunch. We ain't giving you shit. So let's go there. Ottawa ain't giving you nothing. They got a couple young guys. Who am I thinking of now? Arizona. Who's on their back end? There's a guy on them that brought up that's a guy they could get. But we don't talk about Arizona because they're shit. Okay, but there's a defenseman on Arizona that the Leafs, and he's a left-handed.
We need a right-handed shot, though.
Is he a right-hander? O-Dog brought him up, and it caught in my head because the Leafs are looking for that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got the grit on the front end, and they picked up Reeves, but they're going to need a guy with grit and a little bit more.
No, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Yeah, on the back end there.
It's gonna be interesting.
I don't know who they're gonna get, but we're gonna have to find out soon because they're gonna go to. You know what? People don't realize this. In a month from now, the training camps are full blown in the NFL.
Oh, NFL, yes.
Full blown NFL. So what happens when the NFL starts? Everyone starts talking that 365-day season in Toronto kicks into high gear by then because they're going to say who's going to go to training camp. But then again, I got to give the Leafs this. They got a couple of those big guys down in the Marley land. What's the kid's name? That big defenseman. He played really well this year for Toronto. You brought his name up before.
The French one? Like the French-Canadian one?
Yeah, that kid. They say he's ready.
Oh, that's the first I've heard of that.
I thought, there's a guy.
The guy who was the rookie with the Marlies last year?
Yeah, wasn't he pretty
Villeneuve.
good? Yeah, but they say he might be ready for prime time. He's a pretty big boy.
See. I mean, he definitely had a very impressive first season with the Marlies.
Yeah, so what if he breaks camp? See, we got to know the camp comes around. So we're talking about my lottery tickets is what we're talking about.
That's the thing. You can write like line combinations for everyone all summer.
I get tired of that after a while. You know what I'm saying?
But speaking of the Marlies, they made a hiring. They kind of flew under the radar that I thought was interesting.
I thought when you texted me and you said this, it suddenly my spider senses went on when you said it.
So
let's give it.
For those of you that don't know, the Toronto Marlies hired John Gruden. Not that John Gruden, not the former Raiders coach.
I miss him.
This John Gruden was the Boston Bruins assistant coach last year. He will be the new Marlies head coach.
And not only that, he was under Cassidy's staff too. I think Cassidy. Am I saying it right?
Cassidy, yeah.
Cassidy in Vegas. He was one of his. Correct me if I'm wrong. We should look it up. But he was on his staff. Cassidy brought him in, and then he just stayed there. So his
That
pedigree.
makes sense because usually when a new head coach comes in, it's like you got to stick with one of the assistants there, and you could bring in one. That's usually how it works.
Yeah, and he was around, so he didn't get brought in by what's his name. So that's quite interesting. So what are you saying? If the Toronto,
how do you spell lame duck? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, Lameduck. Is that how you spell it? You know what I mean?
They're saying Keefe's gonna add what they're gonna do like a 1-year contract extension, so he's not like whatever a traditional like lame duck, but like when you got that guy knocking on the door, it's time to turn over the shoulder and see
Mrs.
the writing on the
Milani.
wall.
Mrs. Milani, did you like Matt Sundin because he was good looking?
I've never
Just
heard
sort of that. I just thrown it in there. It just occurred to me. I'm trying to defend it now because I met your mom and I love
I
it.
have a friend from Humber who like that was her crush growing up. So
I'm just saying, just throwing it out there because Nylander ain't ugly either. But let's
one more thing I want to talk about the NHL. We talked about this a little bit. Why the NHLPA is such a weak players union. Take a look at the player reps for each team. It's going to be evident pretty quickly. You want me to
How do these guys get the job? Just name off 5 guys that I can laugh at. Like, does nobody want the job? It's like when I was in a union, I never wanted to be a union steward. And a lot of people said I should have been because of this. I just didn't want the job. So then we get a clown in there and we go, oh, damn, why did we put that guy in there? Kind of deals. This was happening in the NHL. Is that what you
Basically,
say?
it's like, I don't want to. Matthews like, I don't want to go.
No, Matthews. Who's Toronto's rep anyway? Isn't it Tavares? It was.
He is the alternate, but the rep, they got to find a new one because the rep was Alex Kerfoot.
Oh, right. I thought Tavares was a good guy because he always talked good about that.
I mean,
he's
not
the alternate.
He should be. He might have to step up. I think he should step up.
I think he should too. Well, who's Montreal's? I'm scared because Gallagher didn't want the job.
Mike Matheson. Gallagher's the alternate.
Yes, I know that they tried to get him to be. He was another guy that he said no, he didn't want the job.
So I'm going to read them out. So for Anaheim, it's Adam Henrique. Arizona, it's Patrick Nemeth.
What good is he?
For Boston, it's Brandon Carlo.
Oh, he won't even be in the league in a year.
For Buffalo, it's Casey Middlestat. Calgary, Nikita Zadorov.
Oh, my God.
Carolina, Jordan Martinook. Chicago, Connor Murphy.
Okay, he's a good kid. He's going to be a coach someday.
But he's not that good.
No, but he's going to be, watch, he's going to be a coach or something.
Maybe.
He's one of those guys.
Colorado, JT Compher. They got to find a new one.
Yeah.
Columbus, Boone Jenner, who's their captain, I believe.
Is he?
So good for him.
Yep.
Dallas, Luke Glendening. I think he just signed somewhere else. So they're
going to have to get somebody else too, yep.
Detroit, Dylan Larkin, captain, best player. Good for him.
No, that's, back in the day, it was more like that.
That's how it is in the NBA.
Yes,
like it's
more
LeBron
like that.
going to the meetings,
Yes,
like that kind of thing.
yeah. But what's wrong with the NHL then?
I don't know. I
Let's
just want to
make
keep.
Nylander.
Let's
make Nylander.
I want to keep reading these.
Okay,
Some of these are good. So Edmonton, Darnell Nurse.
Oh,
Florida, Aaron Ekblad. Good for him.
Okay, yeah, I'm good too.
LA, Matt Roy.
What?
Minnesota, Marcus Foligno.
Why did they give these guys a job? No one would take them? Did they pay them to go to the meetings?
They might.
Oh, come on. These guys are brutal.
We already said Montreal. Nashville, Colton Sissons.
Never even heard of him.
He's like a third liner. New Jersey, Miles Wood. They got to find a new one because he just signed. Him and the alternate rep, Damon Severson, are both on new teams now.
I heard Miles Wood's very good, though, in the room.
Sure.
I heard his name has come up.
Sure. I mean, he's a good pickup for Colorado, but I mean, is he the guy that New Jersey wants? Is he the guy that really New Jersey should have at these meetings? No. Islanders, Anders Lee. He's the captain. Good for him.
Yes. Yeah.
Rangers, Jacob Chuba, captain.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yes. Yeah.
Ottawa, Brady Tkachuk, captain.
Good,
best player. Good for him.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, Travis Sanheim. Pittsburgh, Chris Letang.
That's okay.
But that's the Malkin or Crosby aren't even the alternate.
No, because Crosby's would never. Crosby, does he wear a suit? Yeah, he does when he goes to games. I love Crosby, though.
San Jose, Logan Couture.
That's a good
one.
Yeah.
Seattle, Eberle. It's a pretty good
Not
one
bad,
considering their roster.
Yeah.
St. Louis, Colton Parayko. Tampa Bay, Alex Killhorn, really.
All the guys they could have from Tampa.
And their alt is Cirelli, too. So, like, Stamkos, Hedman.
And all those guys bailed, eh? Kucherov.
It's sad.
Yeah.
Vancouver, Tyler Myers.
Please.
Vegas, Nick Hague.
Oh, my
Washington,
God.
Tom Wilson.
Wilson would be okay.
But, like, Ovi, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, John Carlson.
Good point.
Winnipeg, Adam Lowry.
Is he even playing still?
He's like a third line center.
Anyways, that's an interesting point you made because these are the guys that are driving the league, and they're not even taking the time to get what they want. Because you know what it is. You know what I say about the NHL, but losing what the union is, and it's the reps that do it. It's all individual shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's me, I. We're not going to get on. Which is, before we go, we're talking about money and contracts and this. I just want to bring up something in the last few minutes that we're here that I think is the gospel according to Cruz. And it's concerning the layoffs at ESPN. And we lost some big name guys on there. I thought, I'm not going to bring up the names right now because then I don't want to diss the guys that still got jobs and who is better and who's worse. But if you want to look at the guys that they did let go, they are some of the most controversial, so outspoken, I'm going to say what I think kind of guys, which is probably getting away from that Disney woke theory of why we got to be good people, okay? And everybody's bailed out anyway because they're not even going to have any pregame celebrations anymore. We're not going to say why and what particular reasons because we could bring in a lot of different, scenarios, groups, dogs, cats, whatever you want to say. But my bottom line is, and I'm going to predict this, and I'm probably going to be old and dead when it happens, but I think this is the beginning of the collapse of sports the way that it is. The reason I believe this is because the first thing is that ESPN is what? Entertainment Sports Network. The key word being entertainment. Entertainment means bringing eyes to the product.
Yeah.
Putting butts in the seats and selling TV packages so that the sports can make more money. My theory is this. When you got to get ESPN, which is the biggest network in the world, what bigger? Sky's trying to get there and all these other places. Yeah. No, it's the biggest sports network in the world. Everyone knows ESPN. If they're giving money off, that means that they're losing money somewhere. Even if it's the parent company, still counting beans, someone's losing money.
Well, which Disney is bleeding money right now. Let's not beat around that bush.
Okay, so here we go.
In like all departments.
And everywhere you go. And why is one of the reasons? We know we aren't going to go there because we're not going to bring up about social justice engineering right now.
Yeah, what we're going to what?
Okay. What I'm getting at is this. The number one thing that drives anything on television, and I haven't watched Mad Men and I'm going to. But that theory of madman way back in the 50s is still what drives TV today, and that's your advertising dollar.
Yeah.
So I'm of the belief that ESPN, maybe some of the bean counters that do the advertising are saying, we don't want to give you money for some of this product. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I do, but I think we have a disagreement here.
What's your take on it then? I say it's going to collapse because you can't give these guys contracts. You give them for 10 years at the end of the contract, what it is. I want to bring up the Kopitar contract, which I think is amazing. But then we got the Cabrera contract. We got the Poulos contract. Give me a couple NBA contracts.
NBA contracts are short-term, though, so it's less of an issue there.
They can buy them out. I say the only thing about my theory that I'm going to say is not going to work is, and what I'm getting at is that the advertisers are going to say, no, we're not paying you the money. So if they're not paying the money for the product, then the owners are going to have to tell the players, you're not getting your money, so the contracts are going to come down. That's my prediction.
What about gambling?
That is the great freaking anomaly, and we know that
because these guys are willing to spend the money. You see the 5 commercials every break.
Oh, that's what that, and you know, which is making me sick. So maybe the collapse is going to come a little longer, or is it what is going to happen? Is that gambling's going to prop up everything?
It might. The way it's being shoved down our throats.
Okay, so 10 years ago, gambling was illegal. Now they're suspending NFL guys left, right, and center for gambling, and these guys can't even figure out why they're being freaking suspended. You know what I mean? Yeah. I bet on the Puss Kupi polo team in Austria. Suspended. What up with that? And if that's going to prop it up, but I'm saying the contracts are coming down, bro. I see this is the first shake in not football. Football's a monolith that's never going to move, okay? Right. And another thing that we haven't brought up
now, I mean, I think there's some problems with football we're going to start seeing, maybe not in your lifetime, but in my lifetime.
Okay, well, is it going to be money? Is that what it is, as you're saying?
I think the education about head trauma.
Oh, I think they're going to ignore that. They're going to be like boxing then?
Maybe.
No, but you know what they did? They just let you get yourself killed quicker. They called it MMA. That's all. When you think, come on. That's all. What's the most violent thing on the planet?
I don't know.
MMA is the most violent thing on the planet, bar none.
The matches are shorter there, though.
Why? Because it's more violent. You get more chance to kill each other. Less defense, less skill. Let's just kill each other.
I would say more skill than boxing.
Oh, you're out of your mind. But that's a show for another time. Maybe that's what we're going to get on. Anyway, my point is this. It's the cult of personality against the advertising dollar. So now is Stephen A. Smith the king of ESPN? Is he going to bring in all his buddies now?
He has been.
Oh, he has. But now it's getting to a level where he's going to be the king. So is Disney going to touch him? No, because it's the number one rated show whatsoever. So my prediction is this. I'm going to give it just maybe not in my lifetime, but Mr. Milani, you'll be able to back this up when I'm dead and gone, is the contracts are going to come down. I'm seriously believing this is the beginning of stopping the contracts. Let's take it one step further. We had a flat cap in the NHL this year. Why? They're saying pandemic. Bullshit. The money they didn't get from ESPN and Turner, even though you said the ratings were a little bit higher, I don't put my hands in the wounds to know what money they're making.
Counting the money from the last couple seasons.
Okay, so is it going to be like this? Did you ever see back in the day when you watched Popeye? Okay, and I still laugh about this. And Yosemite Sam tried to do this with Bugs Bunny. Did you ever see how they split up the money? And this is what I'm afraid is going to happen in sports, okay? They go like this. I'll be Brutus, you be Popeye. Okay, Popeye, here. One for you, some for me. One for you, some for me. That's how sports is going somewhere. And I'm thinking the advertising guys are going, the players are always saying, some for me. If I'm not getting my money, my bang for my buck, I'm not paying.
I don't know, though. We'll see, because I think the gambling is going to hold it up because, for these networks.
Okay, but who's going to go pay for the seats when you go to the arena?
I think they'll always find a way to fill it up.
It's going to be paper? Gambler? They're going to buy gambler? They're going to get okay, listen, buddy, we know you got a crack problem and a gambling problem. Here's a ticket. Go sit in the stands. So in the game tonight, it looks like we got somebody in the seats. Because something you're not bringing up right now, and I thought that you should really quick, is this. And that's what I'm saying. Who's subsidizing who? The women's hockey leagues combined.
Yes.
Is the NHL going to support that league like the NBA supports the WNBA? Because if there wasn't for the NBA backing that, nobody backs those girls leagues like they do the NBA.
I think this opens the door for the NHL to get involved because the NHL didn't want to get involved when it was two leagues. Exactly. They're like, figure your shit out before we get involved. That's happened now.
Okay, so
I forgot the guy's name, the Dodgers co-owner. He's taken over the women's hockey league. He has ties to Gary.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a door open there.
Okay, so let's get it this way. Montreal, Toronto, New York, Chicago, Boston, they got some pocket change. I'll throw it at the girls to keep them going, okay? Do you think Columbus wants to do that? Do you think Edmonton wants to do that? Do you think Winnipeg wants to do that? You got a new owner in Ottawa. He just paid almost $1 billion. He overpaid for a team. Do you think he's going to want to take? So that means some of your profits you got to go to make a league that you're not sure is going to work. See, what happened in the WNBA is I think it's a smaller rosters, okay? Bigger money with the contracts on TV, so they can take a slice off that and hand it to the girls, and the players won't even notice it because they're getting their buck anyway. In the NHL, it's not going to work like that. We already seen the flat cap year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that means they didn't have money that they wanted to use on their own resources.
Well, but when the cap jumps up 9.5 over the next 2 years.
So we're going to find out in the next 2 years whether or not it's going to work or not.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's all going to collapse. My theory is the ESPN, you heard it here first, July 8th, I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
July 8th, 2023, I, John Alexander Cruz, alias Jack, is telling you that this is all going to come back. And I don't even think the individual contracts of the media, okay, the media's, how baseball is regionalized now?
Yeah.
Cincinnati doesn't have the regional that Toronto has. You know what I'm saying? Kansas City doesn't have the regional that Colorado has. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that your gross domestic product is coming down. And if that's coming down, your cost of living is coming down. If your cost of living is coming down, that's less money that you have to spend on your house. Your house is the Arizona Diamondbacks. Your house is the Columbus Blue Jackets. Your house is the Memphis Grizzlies. If you're taking away money from your house, you ain't happy. You know what I'm saying? So the advertisers are the ones that are paying for their houses. We're going to see. I hope the NHL does back the girls.
Well, I think they will eventually in some capacity. But with this whole thing with ESPN, I think the media landscape is quickly changing. I don't know if you heard about what the Utah Jazz are going to start doing.
No.
Where they're basically going to start distributing their own games to because the whole thing with Bally Sports is kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
So the Jazz are taking this into their own hands. They're like, we're going to distribute the product ourselves. And
interesting.
Yeah. I think that could be the way to go.
So what are they going to do? They're going to sell it to like TSN? They're going to sell it to what's the local market in Utah? Can't be that big. They got
in terms of size of it can't be that big. So
but it's Salt Lake City. And what's the other say? Provo and the place where they have the movie Sundance. What city is that in? Is that in Salt Lake? Because there's only two big cities there: Salt Lake City and I think it starts with a P.
Yeah. No, but so they're taking their own distribution, their own hands. They're like, we want to get this to as many people as possible, as affordable as possible. I think that could be the way to go for a lot of especially for local teams.
I think that's a very good idea, but that's still going to affect the salaries in that they're not going to maybe get the money in return. So I still say the salaries are going to come down.
It's going to be more eyeballs though, which is going to be the good thing though.
I have an interesting thought about your theory about we don't know what's going on with the streaming in the boxes, so we'll never know who's paying for that, which must piss the advertisers off.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, you say the ratings are here because ESPN did this or TSN did this, but I got my box at home. Who knows that I'm watching it on the box?
Well, I think they have the numbers, but I don't think they're going to show it to the public. Or they're having trouble tracking. Like, there's a bunch of legal and whatever digital mumbo jumbo there.
Okay, so then that supports my theory because when you go to the advertisers, you got to show the advertisers a number that says this is why you're paying $1 million for 30 seconds in the Super Bowl. There has to be a matrix that balances that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting point you made there. So that's going to be another thing for the advertisers to come back and say, hey, you know what? Because it's got to be advertiser driver driven. And someone's got to say something. We've brought it up on the show all the time about all of these people sitting down for not showing up for the games, fans moving, disrespect to the households and stuff like that. I don't know. We're just saying that now because I'm a sports fanatic, so whatever's going to happen, I'm going to keep on watching because sometimes that just makes me left of an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that, but I mean, we're for the best competition, and that's why we're doing this show. That's why we love sports.
Absolutely. And I think the thing about the load management, all that, I think that affects the national broadcast games a lot more than it does local games. Because I think local people are going to watch usually either way.
Well, that's an interesting point because like you're saying is that let's just pick a city out, Philadelphia. When they were in the playoffs, when the 76 were in there, everybody in that city was glued. Everybody was watching ratings through the seat. Embiid went home, and guess what? Click, all the TVs went off, which is interesting. But that's a lot of cities that way anyways. You know, it's how you keep the national market. I'm not really sure, but we're going to find out in the very near future. I just want to say a big shout out to Jalen Rose and Keyshawn Johnson, because they were two of my favorite people that were on the TV. They didn't seem as puppet-oriented as other people. And may Stan Van Gundy get another job back in the NBA because losing his...
Jeff Van Gundy.
I mean, Jeff, yeah. Jeff that just got fired, right? In any
Stan
event,
still works for TNT.
So the bottom line is, a man that can educate you that much on basketball should not disappear from the landscape. I hope that he rears his head in another way so I will learn more. You know what I'm saying?
I think you'll see them all again, so in some way, some form.
Podcasts. Whatever we're going to go. And on that point, we're talking about podcasts. Once again, we thank you for coming to listen to us here at the House That Happens, sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill. It's been a great show. I always look forward to seeing you every week, Mr. Milani. You know what I'm saying?
I know, and give us a like on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I want to get on Thread soon. I got to find out what that nonsense is all about since people are hating on Twitter nowadays, but...
You find this
what
out
else?
for
We're on
me.
TikTok. We're on TikTok.
Okay, here we go.
You can email us, thehousethathappens@gmail.com if you got a question.
I also want to say this is that I got a personal shout out for my friend Mr. Milani here because basically he's a producer for this show, and if he didn't anchor it, it could be all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Thanks a lot, bro. In any event, hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And this is The House That Happens, and we also want you to remember this. We keep the vibe alive.